Okay guys, so nothing too crazy complicated today for Flatware Friday. This is a topic that will cover not just stainless, but also silver plate and some sterling as well. It covers lots of different makers. And so the niche we're talking about today is advertising flatware. So today I'm just going to give you a few examples and then just kind of let you take it from there as far as different ideas or things that maybe you come across while you're digging in those flatware bins, and then do your research from there. But a lot of the pieces I have found in this category have just been loose pieces that, because I'm digging in those flatware bins on a regular basis, I come across these kind of random pieces. So when we're talking about advertising flatware, we're talking about like hotels and restaurants, airlines, military, institutions, type things like that. So I'm not talking about souvenir spoons or spoon, like, you know, those collectible little spoons that you pick up in gift shops all over the world. This is more like the flatware that was used at those institutions or used at those restaurants. Possibly even, I was trying to figure out, some of the like airline flatware is new in the package. I've come across new in the package. Either the airline gets discontinued. I think that happened one time with the amount that I came across. I think the airline got discontinued or swallowed up by another airline, and all their extra flatware, first class stainless flatware, got dumped at the thrift store. More about that later. But anyway, so that's what I'm talking about. Maybe we'll talk about souvenir spoons in the future. I don't know if that's going to be a topic or not, but let me know in the comments down below. We're going to go look at the computer for a little bit. Let me know in the comments if you've ever sold any advertising flatware, silverware that you've come across, or any other ideas that you have that didn't pop into my head, or something that I haven't had experience with yet. That would be great. So let's hop over to the computer and just kind of get some ideas. Okay, so we're going to start with the US Navy, because this is the type of flatware that I have come across probably the most, just in random bags of flatware, little flatware trays at thrift stores and things like that. So when we're talking about US Navy flatware, a lot of it is marked USN, or it's marked with an anchor, kind of an anchor mark. So we'll take a look at that. So there's two different kinds. I'm going to show you, this is US Navy Silverplate flatware. So kind of like I said before, the makers are not as important as just what it's advertising or what it was used for. So there'll be all different types. In US Navy, I've sold Reed and Barton, I've sold Silco, I've sold a bunch of different kinds. Now, it turns out that the officers had different flatware than the regular crew members, I guess that's what you call it. So the officers' mess maybe would use this fancier flatware. As you can see here, some of these pieces, it was like a shell pattern. It was actually called Kings. So let me see. This is the silver plate. You can see the prices are pretty good on this. I was taking a look at this. This was so interesting to me, so I wanted to share. Check this out, this box of US Navy USN Mess silver-plated forks by International Silver Company. But they were all in their original plastic and in this original box, and it says flatware silver-plated for officers, mess Navy pattern engraved with fouled anchor, fork table 12 each. That is something I live for. Original packaging of flatware. Let's go down. I'll show you here. So they say USN possibly on one side, I think, and then on the front there's an anchor. The Navy anchor is like engraved in it. Okay, so kind of keep an eye out for that, but definitely looking for that US Navy USN markings. If we go over to the stainless flatware, you can see they're a lot plainer. Okay, so this is very much what I ended up finding, and I would just list them whenever I found them. If I had a few pieces to put together, that'd be great. I remember I had a few pieces and I sold them to, I can't remember if mine were silver plated or if they were stainless, but the person who bought them from me, he was retired Navy and he had a boat or a yacht or something like that, and he wanted to use U.S. Navy flatware in his little galley or whatever you call it on a boat. Okay, so you can see that people have put like canteen and things like that in their title for some of these just more basic pieces. But as you can see, it's not bad just for one piece of flatware. $13, another $13, $15 for a spoon, $34 for a fork. So that's about average. So like I said, whenever I would find one piece of it, I would just go ahead and list it, and I had no problem selling them individually. Now this set of multiple pieces went for $225. Looks like maybe 27 pieces of that. So like I said, it's just very basic looking, and it just says USN engraved on the handle. And like I said, it can be different patterns as well. So let's look over at another category. We're talking about hotel, vintage hotel flatware. I'm going to try, okay, it's under collectibles, advertising, dinnerware, and serving pieces. So there could be some more pieces in other categories, but I just kind of wanted to give you a starting spot and a place to look for, right? To start thinking about. Because you might come across a spoon and it just has some hotel you've never heard of. That's happened to me before. Like this hotel, the Ben Lomond, sold for $7. We have this Congress Hotel sold for $29.99. This lot of flatware. Hotel Pennsylvania, it's a big like serving spoon, sold for $28 with free shipping. Holiday Inn, just kind of basic little, familiar hotels, chains and things like that. A lot of this stuff is from times past, and so people do want to collect it. We've got the Hotel Claridge in Memphis, Mayflower Hotel in Washington, D.C. So some you've heard of and some not. When I put in flatware, I don't know why all this hollowware is coming up, but that's just is what it is on eBay search right now. I went over to Terapeak to show you the Ritz Carlton flatware. So that's interesting, right? Ritz Carlton, antique silver plate, hotel flatware. I don't know if it's antique, but at least vintage. And I think these pieces sold for $119.50. So keep an eye open for the fancier the hotel, like if you've heard of the hotel, the chains will be good because there's a certain amount of familiarity with chains that people do collect, especially if it's kind of from a certain era. But also if you think of like fancy hotels, then your value is also going to go up. So here's 6 Ritz Carlton silver plated dinner fork, butter knife, flatware sold for $75. Keep your eyes open for that. Now, as far as restaurant, so I just kind of did a quick search, vintage restaurant forks. The word flatware was messing me up. So sometimes putting silverware in your title, some people use silverware instead of flatware, especially in these categories. So this is interesting. This was just, again, to give you an idea, pick a random restaurant, put that in there. And we've got Hotel Claridge, Memphis, the Macus Red Fox Restaurant, Jimmy Hoffa's last public location. So that fork sold for $60. We've got the Toddle House restaurantware fork, $8. The Logos Restaurant. And then the Woodbury, I guess that's a restaurant. A big, large lot of it. Here's the Hilton Hotel. So some of the hotel and restaurant ones kind of go back and forth. Now Denny's, I've either sold a Denny's fork or I have one in my stash. Sometimes things are so familiar, especially in this category, but I just enjoy collecting these so much that they might not get listed right away. And so I would go and like, oh, I have some of that, and I'd go look in my emails to look for solds to see what the prices were, and like they weren't in solds because probably I've hoarded them somewhere still in a stash. So we'll see. Okay, so Denny's restaurant, $12 just for a fork. I feel like I did sell mine though. I forgot to look. And some more Denny's restaurants forks made in Korea. Okay, so you get an idea. There's another one that's kind of I've come across before, and that's Woolworth. So the soda fountain, Woolworth soda fountain spoons. We've got one for $15, another one, a fork sold for $15, a soda spoon $15, another spoon $15, and they're just marked Woolrich in that script. And nice little, you know, it can just be sitting there right in the midst of all the other flatware that you're digging around in, and you want to keep an eye out for that. Here's another one that I just think is super fun. Horn and Hard Art teaspoons. It was the Horn and Hard Art Baking Company, right? So the automat, look at this, a spoon, oh, teaspoons. So I don't know how many there are. It says stainless and silver plate, $25. Looks like one spoon. Oh, right, it's the logo, not the spell out one. So that sold for $20. That's cool. Horn and Hard Art, the automat, $52 for those 3 pieces. Okay, Horn and Hard Art. So do you guys remember the fact that they were the ones, I think, who started the automat? And here is their website. Horn and Hard Art Baking Company lunchrooms. So if you want any kind of history on that, you can Google that. So they introduced the automat in 1902. Okay, there's some pictures here just of like the history of it. The company I noticed was still in business. So 1952, 171 Horn and Hard Art that's really hard to say. Restaurants, automats, and retail shops across Philadelphia and New York, serving over 750,000 people a day. So it was just kind of a place you could pop a quarter or pop some change in, and it would spit the food out that was already made for you, right? So they started a revival in 2023, although 1991 was when the last automat closed in New York City. And then I popped over to Wikipedia because I was trying to find some pictures. And so it says 25 automats, all centrally located, 35 cents. And for this whole meal, and they said they were really popular, especially during the Depression. So people could get a meal at a fairly low price. There wasn't a waiter, waitress. It wasn't like a full-on restaurant experience. So this is from 1922. Okay, so isn't that fascinating? So when you find a Horn and a Hard Art spoon or fork or whatever, to me that's like holding history, right? Like you're holding something somebody held to eat. I mean, that's true of all flatware, right? That's true of most vintage I sell. But I don't know, there's something about restaurant ware and advertising ware, this type of thing that just, I don't know, it just blows my mind. You guys, I don't know. Some of you get it. I know you do. Okay, so then the last category I think I'm going to talk about just in this genre is flatware, airline flatware, okay? So I just started off with United Airlines. I found that one probably fairly often. But, you know, nothing crazy high prices on these, but I found them, well, at least in Washington, I found them on a fairly regular basis. Okay, so you can see some good prices just for a few pieces. The ones that I found the most, and I would even find them like new in the package, wasn't these styles. I'm trying to find the one. I'm going to call it, here it is, fish scale. Okay, I'll show you the pattern. Because these are fairly easy to spot in a flatware bin. Because they're textured, right? It has the United Airlines logo on it, but the handle is textured in like a fish scale pattern. Okay, so those pop out at me pretty easily. Now, depending on the airline, some of these things can get pretty pricey. So Air France, the Concorde, we have Air France Concorde, Raymond Loewy, is that how you say it? Was the designer for this flatware. And look, it's very mid-century, some more Air France. Okay, has a seahorse logo, but very mid-century looking flatware. What was this next one? Here's another. Oh, I think I just used flatware instead of silverware. I was playing around with like the search terms to see which ones come up. More stuff comes up in flatware results, but it looks like it's more unrelated things. So silverware sometimes not kind of narrows it down a little bit, or you can come over and just narrow it down. If you're seeing any interruptions in my talking here, I'm experimenting with using my phone's microphone because it's better than my laptop's. Because I know there are issues with the sound. And I am going to invest in a better microphone for recording. But today I thought I would try this, but it keeps disconnecting. And so I'm trying to make sure that what I'm saying doesn't get lost in here. But if there's any blips, that's what's happening. Trying to get that figured out. So there's some more of that very awesome looking mid-century looking flatware for Air France. That looks like it sells for a fairly good price. Here's another one that another reseller I know had found a bunch of this and they sold it on Ruby Lane. But check out this. It's SAS Airlines, which I think is Scandinavia Air, right? And so this is Jetline is the name of the pattern, and the designer is Sigurd Persson. Anyway, more very, very mid-century looking flatware, and that whole set sold for $350. So that's definitely on a BOLO list for me, is to look for some of that, I mean, if I saw flatware that looked like that, I would pick it up, because I know what the mid-century look looks like, and I would be like, ooh, is it, Dansk, is it, something like that, and I'd be all excited. And then I'd still be excited to find out it was, oh look, I have two of these. Why is that? Next up is just a general search I did so that you can get an idea for some of the other things that you can find. TWA Airlines for Aero Metal International, Silverplate, Silverware, $300. We've got some Japan Airlines. So a lot of times if the airline is no longer in existence, that can be a good thing. Pan Am, that's just like screams mid-century to me. $130 for some Pan Am flatware. As you can see, these are kind of higher prices because there's more of them. Lufthansa. Woo! Lufthansa. Do you know when you have kind of a solitary reselling vintage life and you see a lot of things on the internet and you read a lot, you say things a certain way in your head, and then when you go to say them, you're like, wow, I don't really know how to say that because I'm apparently too secluded in my life. Okay. But look at that. I love the look of that one. That one's really cool. We have Iran Air, Pan Am, America West Airlines, TWA, China Airlines. You get the idea. It can be worth it to pick up airline flatware if you come across it. Oh, look at that one. That's awesome. Okay. Anywho, I'm hoping I get some airline. I have a teeny tiny airport in Kalispell, and anyway, maybe some people who've moved in will bring their airline flatware with them, and I'll find it. I want to show you one of the good scores I had when I lived in Washington. So this was back in 2018. I kind of forgot about this. But I had some Aloha Airlines flatware, and now that I think about it, it was from like Value Village. There was bags and bags of it on the wall. And there weren't a lot of comps at the time, and I think Aloha Airlines had gotten gobbled up by some other company. And this was all new in the package. So I put 3 pieces, like a place setting together. Knife, fork, spoon. I think I did $14.99, something like that. And I just sold them by the place setting, and I lost. Okay, so as you may have heard, because I don't know what got cut off and what's gotten pieced together yet today, but I was having issues with my audio, and so I know things got kind of clipped off there at the end. But all I was going to say about that flatware from Aloha Airlines was that I kind of lost track. I was looking through my solds in my emails, and there was just so many emails about the different number of sales that I had for that little place setting at like $14, $15 a piece. And I think, some people would buy 2 and some people bought 4. And anyway, so it was a nice little money maker over a couple months. Anywho, what else was I going to say? Oh, that was it for today for Flatware Friday. So I hope you enjoyed this little flatware niche. I enjoy it. I kind of forgot how much I enjoy it. Makes me want to go dig in my stashes because I'm pretty sure I've got something that I never got listed that is in this category. Anyway, have you found, like I said, I don't know that I found that much of that in this part of my thrifting life. So it may have a lot to do with your location, how successful you will be on finding things like this. So just throwing that little caveat. I don't know how to pronounce anything anymore. Is this what happens when you get older? Anyway, okay. I'm going to go make dinner, and I will talk to you guys later, and hopefully in the next few days.